Damaris Agneta, stellar career of Ruto'S only female aide-de-camp by Kayoko Niyamasyo on March 2, 2023, 5:18 p.m. Lieutenant Colonel Damaris Agneta, clad in army fatigue, stands behind President William Ruto on February 2, 2023. Lieutenant Colonel Damaris Agneta, clad in army fatigue, stands behind President William Ruto on February 2, 2023. File Lieutenant Colonel Damaris Agneta made history when she became the second female assistant aide-de-camp for President William Ruto, a position she assumed on October 4, 2022. In her role, Agneta, who is the assistant to Colonel Fabian Lengasurunga, turned heads when she accompanied the head of state to the launch of Women's Fund at KICC on Thursday, March 2. As an aide-de-camp, Agneta is mandated with managing the president's diary and liaising with the rest of his security team. Additionally, she acts as the principal military officer serving the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Lieutenant Colonel Damaris Agneta, clad in army fatigue, sits behind President William Ruto on February 2, 2023. Lieutenant Colonel Damaris Agneta, clad in army fatigue, sits behind President William Ruto during the launch of the Women Enterprise Fund at KICC, Nairobi on February 2, 2023. File before being plucked for the top job, she worked as an artillery officer for the Kenyan Army. Agneta joined the Army in 2003, where she was conferred the rank of second lieutenant, which is the first rank given to officers within 2 years after graduating from the Kenya Military Academy, KMA. As an artillery officer, she coordinated and executed indirect fire support, ground-based air defense, surveillance, and target acquisition, and provided tactical advice as part of the combat arms team. According to the Kenya Defense Forces, an officer must pass through 4 ranks, namely, second lieutenant, lieutenant, captain, and major before becoming lieutenant colonel. A second lieutenant is held by an officer after 2 years of graduation from the Kenya Military Academy, KMA, while a lieutenant must have served for 3 to 5 years. A captain must have served up to 6 years and can be put in charge of up to 50 officers, while a major must have served up to 8 years and is involved in the decision-making process. Apart from working as an artillery officer, Agneta previously served in the United Nations Military Observer Mission. Agneta made a public appearance as she accompanied the president during the relaunch of the Women Enterprise Fund and the second product of the Hustler Fund at KICC, Nairobi. Clad in army regalia, she stood behind the president as he made his speech to the nation. Lieutenant Colonel Damaris Agneta, clad in army fatigue, sits behind President William Ruto on February 2, 2023. Lieutenant Colonel Damaris Agneta, clad in army fatigue, sits behind President William Ruto on February 2, 2023.